Hey guys, good morning and thanks for joining. So in the yesterday class, we discussed about Unix servers and also Microsoft servers and database server. So in the database server, I want to add one more thing here. So I will add couple of things. So data, first of all. So what is meant by data? Collection of information is called as a data. So this data, it will be vary from organization to organization. And also classification of the data can be done by our respective business owner or internal stakeholders. So as a security team, we are not sure about what is the application development team, critical and non-critical data. In the similar way, HR team, critical and non-critical data, and also other teams or other stakeholders data as well. So how we can classify the data based on the machine learning capability and also artificial intelligence capability. So previously up to 2019 or 2021 approximate time period. So it's like everything like a manual process. So we have to contact to the each and every business owner or internal stakeholder, and we have to ask what is the critical data from their department or team, and then only we have to do the classification of the data. So but later whatever tools are existing related to DLP, that is nothing but data loss or data leak prevention, automatically to classify the data. So here couple of definitions also there: data owner, data custodian, and so on. So data owner is nothing but business owner and who is owning the data, and data custodian is nothing but who is accessing the data. So coming back under this particular data, every organization we can classify the data mainly into two types: classification of the data. One is critical and second one is non-critical. And once again, these particular data types, all these are inter-equation guys, especially on the DLP side. All these are inter-equation. If you are applying any job-oriented DLP vacancy, we can expect these are all the inter-equations. So data types are, so first thing is internal or private. Second one is confidential or restricted. Third one is public or external. So these are the classification of the, sorry, data types. So example of internal or private data within the organization level, for example, town hall meeting. So what are the projects we are getting? And so whatever organization point of view we are discussing, so that will fall under the internal data or private data. We will not share that data with the public or external customers. In the similar confidential restricted, whoever our end users and whoever our customers, we will not share those data with the public. So it's like a getting the projects and keeping those projects like a confidential wise, and we should not disclose. So that is like a confidential or restricted. And public or external, we can share these data with the external communication as well. So quarterly once we will receive the, so TCS is got so much of the profits, HDFC Bank is got so much of the profits. In the similar way, Accenture got so much of the profits. So they can go and they can share with the public as well. So this is the way how we can classify the data types based on the internal or private, or else confidential or restricted, and public or external. So as I said, up to 2021, so everything we have to do the manual verifying of the which one is critical data and which one is non-critical data by contacting the respective internal stakeholder. But once the machine learning capability and artificial intelligence capability is entered into the market, so automatically it will discover whether it is a confidential data or not. So whatever we do have the couple of DLP tools like a Trellix, Forcepoint, Digital Guardian, Microsoft Purview. all those tools it can classify the data. So these are the data types. So next one is I want to discuss here one more thing, GDPR related compliances. So GDPR mainly general data protection regulation. This one we discussed already, part of our cybersecurity definitions. It will provide PII data. It is one of the dangerous compliances. Okay, so any customer data we should not expose to the public. In case if are exposing to the public, so whoever is the organization is exposing to the public, that may be Facebook or Didi Global or maybe WhatsApp or AT&T or Telstra, any company basically. Not these are all the already GDPR complaints violation. It's happened in the past, and they paid a lot of money to the government, British Airways as well. So here every end user customer data they should not disclose to the public. For example, maybe I am opening one of the bank account in HDFC Bank. So HDFC Bank should not disclose my data to the public. Okay. So whatever PIA data at the time of the registration of my respective saving account or current account, I will give the my first name and last name, mobile number, email address, in the similar way which company I'm working, what is my salary and everything, right? The data should not be exposed. In case the data should be exposed by the HDFC Bank, now lot of penalties has to paid by the HDFC Bank. For example, so I will go to one of the very famous websites, CSO Online. Can you see my screen by the way?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of the regular. I will visit this website along with the dark reading and India set, US set, Naked Security, Trend Micro, other websites as well, along with ISACA, European Council, and ISC Square. So GDPR penalties. So GDPR penalties mainly it will give the PIA data related. So for example, here if I want to say not this one. Yeah. Can you see my screen? You can see here Facebook or Meta. Facebook is also called as a Meta now. So they exposed all the end users related data, and this particular GDPR compliance is introduced in 2014 and updated in 2018. So especially on the European side, European continent, so couple of customers data got exposed. Because of that reason, their government already fined $1.3 billion. It is not a joke. It's a very huge amount or large amount Facebook has paid to that particular country. So this is one of the largest GDPR violation in the history. So in the similar way, Didi Global from China. So Didi Global $1.19 billion they paid. So it's one of the administration related to telecom based company, and so customer data got exposed related to PII data, that is nothing but personal identifiable information. In the similar way, Amazon, whenever we are ordering something in the Amazon website, our credit card data, debit card data, all those data got exposed for that one. So Amazon is got fined by 877 million. So next one is Equifax. It's one of the once again so finance based company. So they paid around 575 million. So and so on. In such a way, so every company or every organization, if they are exposing the any PIA data of the customer, they should get the large or huge amount of the penalties from the respective government of the sector, and also even they have to pay money to the who whatever data is got exposed by the end user side. So that is called PIA data, and it's one of the very, very famous complaints right now in the market. Dedicated to GDPR complaints, we have a lot of vacancies. Okay, so that is about GDPR. And Instagram, TikTok, T-Mobile from Australia, Meta, once again, WhatsApp, Home Department from UK or USA, and so on. So second one, so example of PIA data related to personal identifiable information. So we can say our name. This name is not confidential, but especially mobile number, bank account, credit card, debit card, Aadhaar card number, driving license, or email address. So these are all the couple of examples of the PIA data. In the similar way, we have one more data that is called PHI. So that is called personal health informational. So couple of companies, whenever they are recruiting any candidate, they will do the medical background checkup whether that particular candidate has any disease or not. So maybe one of the employee has deaf or dumb. So HR team should not disclose to other employees stating that so on so candidate has so deaf and dumb or physically handicapped and so on. So this is our personal oriented data. So personal health information not only on the our background checks related to HIPAA compliances, but also whatever HIPAA compliance we are following, like Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. For example, whenever you are getting any disease, you will go and you will consult a doctor, and finally they will give medication part. And whatever disease you have, a respective hospital, they should not disclose your personal data and also your disease to other people. Okay, not only that one, additionally we have health insurance companies as well. They should not disclose any end user data to the public. Third one is whoever is developing the product based healthcare related companies like a Johnson and Johnson and also Philips, G Healthcare. These are the very famous companies. They are developed Medtronics as well. So they are developing the product development related healthcare based medical tools basically related to heart or cancer or radiology and so on. So whenever they are developing these things, they can make sure that they should be certified by the HIPAA compliances. So this is the way. So in our database, whenever any PIA data and also PHA data is got exposed to the public, obviously they have to pay a lot of money to the respective country as well as even end user also. So that is about overall database server. In-depth analysis, we can discuss part of our GRC. Under GRC, we have two different types of compliances. PA data will fall under the GDPR. PHA data will fall under the HIPAA compliances. There we can discuss once again transparency, reliability, confidentiality, integrity, availability, trustworthiness and lawfulness and other factors as well. So that is about overall database server. So next one is file server. So what this file server will do? So before our cloud enter into the market, now I mean past in the past basically, every organization used to maintain one of the dedicated centralized file server. In that file server, we used to put our documents based on the team wise. For example, maybe application development, whatever projects they are working on, they can go and they can put their files in the file server. In the similar way, SOC team or cybersecurity team or endpoint security team or DevOps team or finance team or HR team or legal team. So after copying all these files, so based on our access wise or grants wise or privilege wise. So we have to give the file server admin and file server user and file server access based on the role based controls. For example, maybe you are a part of the DevOps team and whatever folder you are creating part of the file server. So we have to give the dedicated to DevOps related file server access only. So we are a part of the cyber security and whatever projects we are working on. And so respect to file server admin, they can give access to dedicated to cyber security team. In the similar way, finance team, and in the similar way, HR team, in the similar way, legal team. So file server, it will maintain like a centralized authentication or authorization server where we can store all the files related to our organization point of view. Once OneDrive or Google Drive entered into the market, nowadays what we are doing, all the files we are storing in our OneDrive or Google Drive or SharePoint. According to that one, we are giving the whether it is a read access, view access, or admin access. So, but prior to that one, still couple of companies they are following the file server through FTP or through SFTP. We have to access those files. So it is centralized file server where we can store all of our organization oriented files based on team wise. So example, app development or application development, and whoever is the file server admin, that guy has to give the respective privilege or access or grants or role based access control to this particular folder access. Cyber security and the ML and AI, finance, HR or legal, and so on. So that is about file server. So next server, we will discuss about app server. So app server, sorry, app server is also called as a web server. So this application server or web server, why we can use to host the application mainly. So that particular application can be act as a in between end user and database. So as per network architecture diagram, we have three different types of layers. One is firewall, proxy, and network IDS and network IPS. What is the application architecture diagram? User layer or business or logical layer or backend database layer. That is on the application architecture point of view. So whenever any developer they want to design any application or any website, so they have to make sure that database should be there on the backend and front end user layer as well. So these three things they have to keep in the mind. So this is the way application architecture it contains. So application server, web server, most of the cases we will use a Windows side IIS server. In the similar way, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and also we can use NGINX, that is nothing but Nignix, and also very famous web servers are Apache Tomcat. So all these are very famous web servers or app servers where we can go and we can deploy our apps or above application development or web development part. So how we can define this one? This one will act as a bridge between end users and also backend database server. All the applications can be hosted in the web server or app server. Example of web servers are IIS, Internet Information System from Windows side, Microsoft basically. Second one is Apache Tomcat. It's very, very famous. Most of the organization, they will use this one only. This server is got compromised 2021, and most of the organizations also got compromised because of this Apache Tomcat. And also we have NGINX. It is becoming very famous now. That is called Ignix. In the similar way, RHEL. So these are all the very famous web servers related where we can host our applications in our organization point of view. There are so many basically, but these are very famous web servers or app server. Coming back, I want to discuss one more thing here. Yeah, Log4j vulnerability, you are right. Application three-tier architecture. Whenever any application development team, they are developing either application or website, they will follow three different types of layers. What are those three different types of layer? User layer, a second one is business or logical layer, third one is database layer. So these are the three layers. User layer is nothing but here end user will give either sign up or else he will provide the registration or login page. So this is on the end user point of view. For example, take Facebook itself. So if you want to register the Facebook, we have to do the sign up or registration, then we can access. So this one, it will act as like a, so end user side or user layer. What is in a business or logical layer? Whatever logic they have defined and what type of programming they used at the time of the development side, whether it is HTML or JavaScript or Java based applications or microservice based applications or ASP.NET or .NET framework and so on. So that is business or logical. So database layer already we discussed. Whatever backend database we are using to retrieve the data from the end user side whenever he is giving the respective queries. So example, as we discussed yesterday, SQL, MS SQL, MongoDB, and also we have a lot of things, Cassandra, Alibaba. From Alibaba side, they have their own database. In the similar way, Postgres, Oracle from Gridgain or Couchbase. So that is on the backend database layer. This is on the application three-tier architecture. Application three-tier architecture is different versus network three-tier architecture. So in the network side, what are the three-tier architecture we will follow? Anyway, topic has come. I will explain here itself so that you will not get any confusion in future. Anyway, we'll discuss maybe tomorrow morning class. Network three-tier architecture as per Cisco. So this particular terminology is defined by Cisco. So first thing is on the perimeter side, we have to implement firewall. So that is the first level. Second one, we have to implement proxy. So proxy is also called as a web gateway. So web gateway is also called as secure web gateway, or we can also call it is in the cloud terminology, application gateway. All these are synonyms for proxy. Either we can call it as a proxy or web gateway or secure web gateway or application gateway. All are synonyms. So that is second thing. And third one, as per network three-tier architecture defined by Cisco, what is the third solution we have to implement to make sure that we have to follow defense in depth layer controls? That is nothing but network IDS and network IPS. Network intrusion detection system and network intrusion prevention system. So these three things will fall under the network three-tier architecture and application three-tier architecture, these three. Okay. So whenever any developer, that may be Java or HTML or AngularJS or full stack developer, if they are going for any interview, they can expect this question. What is application three-tier architecture? How we can define? So user layer and business and logical layer and database layer. And from our side, what is network three-tier architecture? So firewall, proxy or web gateway. That is another one is called network IDS and network IPS. So these three solutions we have to make sure that we have to implement in inline method so that whenever any abnormal activity and also bypassing by attacker either firewall or proxy, so third layer or another layer will come into picture. That is called defense in depth layer control. So that is about overall application server or web server or app server. So next one is SMTP server. It's very, very important, guys. So simple mail transfer protocol. There are so many synonyms for SMTP server. One is called as Exchange server. This is also called as UCS, Unified Communication Server. Couple of companies, especially on the email server, they will call it as UCS, Unified Communication Server. In the similar way, Office 365 or Outlook. So then email server. So these are all the alternative names or synonyms for SMTP server. As we discussed yesterday, not yesterday, day before yesterday. So we discussed about MX record part of the DNS record. So every email contains couple of important parameters. So those important parameters are SPF. So what is SPF? Sender Policy Framework. What exactly this one will do? It is like authentication mechanism. Whenever any attacker, they are trying to do spoofing category of the email attacks from cyber criminals, it will identify and also it will do the either alerting or blocking or else it will do quarantine part. So that is the importance of the sender policy framework. So how we can define this? It's a very, very important, guys. In most of the interviews, whenever you are going for cyber security SOC operations, either level 1 or level 2 or level 3 or tier 1 or tier 2, tier 3, definitely we can expect phishing email investigation. Whenever you are doing phishing email investigation, we have to verify these parameters. Sender policy framework is passed or failed. DMARC is passed or failed. DKM is passed or failed. What is the return path? And what is the IP address validation? And what is the domain validation? And finally, what is the header analyzer or header analysis? Most of the interviews we can expect this particular interview question if you are going for cyber security SOC operations. So it is authentication mechanism. So what exactly it will do? It will prevent and block all spoofing category of the attacks. Spoofing category or spamming category of the attacks. From where? From cyber criminals or phishing email attackers. So that is about sender policy framework. Next one is we have DKIM. So full form is domain key identification message. So this is like authentication protocol, and why we can use this one to make sure that whenever any sender is sending, what is the identity of the sender and who is the recipient. For that one, we can make couple of digital signature so that we can exchange on the back end public and private keys, so that email should be encrypted and it should not be in the plain text or clear text data, so that we can make sure that it can provide confidentiality, integrity, authenticity, and also non-reputation part. That is called DKM. It is authentication protocol. It can provide a digital signature to make sure that identity of the sender and also authenticity. Next one is confidentiality and encryption, and along with that one, integrity. So we have to configure this DKM policy as well. All these are interior questions by the by. These are all interior questions. What is SPF? What is DKM? What is DMARC? What is written path? These are all interior questions. Next one is DMARC, domain message authentication receive code. So it's a combination of both SPF and also DKM, meaning what? It will prevent and block all phishing email category of the attacks, part of the cyber criminals or phishing email attackers, and also even it will provide integrity of the sender and also recipient, and the email should be encrypted or not. That one we can call it as a domain message authentication receive code using HMAC. What is meant by HMAC? So far we discussed about three different types of MACs. One is called media access control. It's a part of the data link layer. It's one of the sub layer in the OSA layer. Second one is HMAC, hash message authentication code. It's a part of the integrity of the end user, whether he's adding or deleting or modifying of the data. What is third MAC we discussed? What is third MAC we discussed? MAC address. So it's a physical address of any Ethernet interface is called as a MAC address. So these are all the three different types of MACs we discussed. And here coming back, so DMARC can be used combination of both sender policy framework and also DKM. It can be provide authentication method and also authentication protocol. And whenever any phishing email attacker is sending the phishing email, so it will prevent based on the whatever policy we defined, part of the authentication method, and also based on the respective integrity of the end user related to encryption and confidentiality, authenticity, and non-reputation. So that combinations we can call it as a DMARC. So we have to verify all these parameters whenever we are doing the phishing email investigation. Next one is return path. What is this return path? Basically, always return path must be sender email address. So in case in our HTML format or JavaScript format, wherever we are doing the header analysis or header analyzer analysis, we have to verify and we have to make sure that return path is matching to the sender email address or not. In case if it is matching, it's a legitimate email. In case if it is not matching, we have to suspect that one is a phishing email. So that is called return path. It must be sender email address. Okay. Next one, additionally, every email contains couple of other parameters as well. That's what we discussed. So example is domain name. So from where the email it has come, we have to verify the domain name validation. So at the rate, whatever it is there, so that one we can go and we can take the domain name and we can verify that particular domain is a legitimate or illegitimate. So that is about domain name. At the rate after that, whatever it is there, that is called domain name. Next one is IP address. So every email contains IP address also from where the email we are receiving. So what is the public IP? That IP also we have to verify. So it's a public IP from where? Sender. So last one technical feature like header analyzer or header analysis. So it is like a payload. We have to take it from the HTML format and we have to analyze whether what is the status of the sender policy framework is passed or failed, DMARC is passed or failed, DKIM is passed or failed. So these are all technical oriented feature every email contains. So that one where we can configure part of the SMTP server. In the similar way, non-technical features also. What are the non-technical features we can identify? So obviously, you know already carbon copy that is called CC and BCC, business carbon copy, subject line, a sender email address, recipient email address, and also draft of the email, whatever we are writing. So those are all non-technical related part. Okay, those things we no need to verify. Okay, so non-technical email features are first one, sender email address, who is sending the email, recipient email address. Third one is carbon copy, that is nothing but CC. In the similar way, we have BCC, business carbon copy. We can hide people in case if we want to make sure that can we hide the any person. Okay. In the similar subject line, body of the content of an email. So these are all the non-technical features. Okay. So in-depth analysis, we can discuss part of the email investigation part. And anyway, topic has come. I want to clarify one more thing here. Whenever any phishing email it will come, SMTP server doesn't have the capability to make sure that whether that particular email is a phishing email or not. For that one, what we have to use? We have to use email gateways or email security solution. How to prevent and block phishing emails? Block and alert. For that one, we have to use couple of email gateways. SMTP server is different and also email gateway is different. So here email gateway solution or that is also called as email security solution. Using this one, we can allow the email or quarantine the email or we can block the email or we can clean the email. Examples of email security solutions are Example, email security solutions or email gateways are a very popular one is called Proofpoint, number one right now in the market. So Proofpoint has a two admins, two console basically. One is called admin console. Second one is called user console. In the admin console, what we can do, we can configure the firewall policy, antivirus policy, and also spam policy. So these are three different types of policies we can configure under the admin console. And under the user console, what we have to do, we have to do the smart check analysis, and also we have to verify any phishing email it is appearing, whether it is a phishing email or not. In case that email contains the phishing, how many people are clicked on, how many people did not click on, can we do email fudging or not? Okay. So additionally, they have one more option name. It is called as a TAP, Threat Advisory Protection. It's one of the very famous one. So in-depth analysis we can identify using Proofpoint. So here two consoles will be there. One console is for the implementation side. Second console is for the investigation side. Second one right now in the market, Office 365 Defender. Email Defender I will keep. So most of the people are getting confusion. Whoever is working in the TCS or Infosys or Wipro, even my students as well. So basically Office 365 Email Defender, it can prevent and block all phishing emails. But on the Microsoft side, even they do have one more defender that is called EDR Defender. So EDR Defender, it will prevent and block all malware category of the attacks. That is different story. And Email Defender, it will take care of the respective phishing email. But whenever if I have lost something, so we are using Office 365 Defender, what it will do? It will do EDR analysis. That is completely blunder mistake. So Office 365 Email Defender for the phishing email investigation. Microsoft Defender is for the EDR detection blocking part, that is dedicated to malware category of the attacks. That is the basic difference every person has to understand. Okay. So third one, Mimecast. Fourth one, Ironport from Cisco. For phishing email awareness, we are using Know Before. So these are all the couple of tools we will use for the phishing email side, mainly for the investigation analysis. Then what is the SMTP server? It will do SMTP server, just it will receive the emails and it will route who is the end user or recipient or who is the sender. So in such a way, it will make like so routing of the emails. But email security solutions are different. Email gateway we can deploy in DMZ or DMZ zone. SMTP server we can deploy in trust zone. Note, SMTP server can be deployed in trust zone as per Cisco or internal zone. Email gateway or email security solution can be deployed in DMZ or DMZ zone. These topic I will discuss tomorrow morning. Okay. So this one you can make sure that it's like a note. So dedicated to phishing email investigation also, there are a lot of vacancies by the by. Okay. So that is about overall SMTP server and what are the different types of technical features versus non-technical. And additionally, so how to prevent phishing emails using email gateways or email security solutions. Next one is Active Directory. AD. So what does this mean by Active Directory? It's a directory of the end user systems or end user names, IP addresses, and all the systems, all the endpoints, and all the servers. We can call it as Active Directory. Okay. So it is a directory of all the end users, all the systems, all the computers, all the servers, along with respect to IP address. That is called Active Directory. What is mobile directory? So whenever we are saving one of the new contact in our mobile, so obviously we'll enter first name, last name, email address, and also company name. We'll not enter all those, but these many options are there. So to save a contact number basically. So that is called mobile directory. So mobile directory, it can provide the directory of the, so who are all the contacts are there in the mobile, and so what is the first name and last name and email address, and where he is working and so on. In such a we can store in the mobile directory. In the Active Directory side, it's the enterprise level, a small or medium based organization side. It can provide directory of all the end user machines, usernames, IP addresses, all the computer names and server names. That is called Active Directory. So here I want to add one more thing here. Active Directory can be configured by a couple of companies, especially small and medium. So one person can be taken care all the DNS capability, DHCP capability configurations, IP address management, and also onboarding of the employee and providing the laptop related to asset management. And also even he will work on the Active Directory configuration. But very, very big organization like a multinational companies or CMM 5 level companies or big data companies, what they will do everywhere segregation. So for asset inventory wise, whenever any employee is onboarding, separate team. That is called device management team. In the similar way, whenever any laptop issues are existing, help desk or service desk team. In the similar way, so Active Directory configuration, so they have separate team that is called Windows admin team or sysadmin team. So this is the way, based on organization to organization, these team names will be vary, and also functionality and roles and responsibilities also will vary. Okay, but most of the cases, as I said, Active Directory can be configured by respective Windows admin guy or sysadmin guy, and they will make sure that what are the registry keys, and on top of the registry keys, they will deploy the certifications as well in case if you are deploying any applications. Additionally, even they can create Active Directory groups. So note, Active Directory configuration can be configured by local IT team or infra team, infrastructure team. It depends on the organization point of view. I'm giving in generic way. Windows admin team. This is also called as sysadmin team. So now what is Active Directory group? So Active Directory group here, maybe today one of the new employees onboarding is a part of the DevOps team. Now whoever is creating the Active Directory, that person, he can make sure that he belongs to so and so team, and he will keep under the group that is called DevOps. In such a way, whoever is working in the DevOps, along with that one, this person also can be joined. That is called Active Directory group. Grouping of similar type of employees in the same group is called as Active Directory group. Now Azure Active Directory is becoming very, very famous. And whenever we are adding any user part of the Active Directory, along with identity and access management. Azure Active Directory, it is giving the risky user or not, legitimate user or not, and also whenever any user is doing any functionality to trying to access the respective our organization, it can give the IP address, and also it can give the which type of authentication he has followed and everything. Okay, so for that one, what we have to make sure that along with Active Directory, we have to configure the identity and access management along with the group or team, and also role-based access control based on the policies configured. Even we have on-premise Active Directory as well. On-premise Active Directory, most of the cases we will use Microsoft-based Windows Active Directory. So we can create Active Directory server. There we can create our all the users information along with which team he belongs to and who is the reporting manager. And also we can map that particular user to the respective group. So that is called Active Directory group. For example, cyber security SOC, Active Directory group, NOC, Network Operations Center team. In the similar way, HR team, admin team, and so on. So that is about Active Directory group part. Next one is a DC, domain controller. We have one more DC that is called data center. I'm not discussing about data center here. What I'm discussing here, domain controller. So what is this domain controller it will do? Already we discussed this one when we discussed about definitions. So domain controller, it will validate whether the end user, whenever he is providing the credentials, whether he is a authorized person to access the domain or not. First of all, whether he's a part of the domain or not. So in case he's a part of the domain and he's existing in the database of the domain control, then only he can be access the domain name control. Otherwise, he cannot. Okay. So couple of time whenever the new users are onboarding, so couple of local IT team or Windows admin team, they forgot to keep that particular user belongs to so and so domain. In that scenario, they will get an error. You are not a part of the domain name. Please make sure that you can be part of the domain name. Now they have to raise a ticket with the help desk team or service desk team to make sure that this particular employee can fall under the domain name or not. Okay, all those verification who will do? Our domain controller. It is a centralized authentication and authorization server of all the endpoints or end users. Every employee must be, every employee or every end user. Part of the domain controller. So example of the domain controls are tcs.com. It's a domain name. Okay. So now cognizant.com, cts.com. So in this similar way, google.com. So in this similar way, facebook.com. So all these are domains. So once the end user is entering into the organization, so whether the user is belongs to this domain or not. So this particular configuration also can be done by Active Directory team. In case is a part of the Active Directory and also domain controller, then only he can access the respective laptop or workstation or mobile or maybe desktop as well. Okay. In case if he's not part of the domain, obviously, as I said, error will get, and we have to raise a ticket with the help desk team or service desk team. Okay. So that is domain controller. And from the SIM tool point of view, I will give one more information here. So centralized authentication authorization server. What is meant by centralized authentication authorization server? Whenever any user is trying to access any domain controller by providing the username and password, so authenticity can be done by end user side and authorization can be done by domain controller side. Couple of times end user will get the authentication success and couple of times end user will get the so authentication failures. So all these authentication success and authentication failure logs can be identified in the part of the domain controller. It's entire question, guys. So that is what I said. Active Directory is a directory of all the end users. That is called Active Directory, and it can provide systems and also IP address and service information. Domain control is like a backend database server. It can validate whether the user is part of the domain controller or not. That is the main difference between Active Directory and domain controller. So now, whenever the end user is accessing respective end user machine or asset, or any asset, that may be either laptop or MacBook or workstation or desktop, there are two probabilities. What are those two probabilities, guys? You are logging into your laptop. What are two probabilities we can get it? What are two probabilities we can get it?
Whether we can log in for the
Login
authentication
failure, login.
password at all.
Yeah, login failure and login success.
Login success.
Authentication failure and authentication success. So authentication failures can be measured on the backend one of the dedicated ID. That ID we can call it as event ID. That event ID number is 4625. Entire question. In the similar authentication success, 4624. In the similar way, special logon. It's one of the Windows logon type. 4672. So these are all the couple of event ID numbers. This concept is applicable to dedicated to Microsoft Windows operating machines only. It is not applicable to Unix operating system. Event ID concept is applicable to Windows only. So here authentication failure is 4625, authentication success is 4624, special logon is 4672. So do you think that only one logon we can work on to log into the end user system? How many logons are there? We have total type 1 to type 9. There are around 10 to 9 logon types are there. We know only one logon type, that is normal logon by providing the username and password. But actually we have backend total 1 to 9 logon types. That is also one of the entire question. Windows logon types. In-depth analysis we can discuss more in future. Type 02, type 11 or type 10. Here type 6 and type 4 are ignored. So total we have 8 or 9 logon types. Total 9 logon types. I think it's 11. We know only one thing. What we can do, we can switch on the laptop or MacBook or workstation or desktop, and we can give the username and password. That is normal logon type. But other than that logon type, we have total 8 to 9 logon types. So those logon types also important. Okay. From the interview point of view, so here this is very, very favorite interview question, guys. So how we can expect the interview question from here? So whenever any brute force category of the attacks it will appear, how can you go and you can see who is the end user and what is the event ID and how can you filter out in the SIM tool? What the answer we have to say? What the answer you have to say? Which one you have to filter out?
Security logs.
Security logs only. Which security logs and what is the event ID?
Event ID.
It will be 4625.
Exactly. So this is one of the
Authentication failure
favorite
logs.
interview question. So from the past 24 hours, we want to know how many end users has done brute force attack. How can you filter out? So how many end users or attackers has done dictionary attack? How many end users has done pass the hash attack? How many attacker has done pass the hash value attack? So how we can give this answer? Using event ID 4625, we can identify so whether end user has done the authentication failure attempts or else attacker has done. So they are not expecting directly straightforward question. So they are here what they are expecting basically whether you are aware of the event ID concept or not. Okay, they are asking indirect way. So they are bringing the attack name here and they are expecting whether you'll think logically or not, whether you are aware of the event ID concept or not. So that is the reason instead of the so Windows event ID authentication failure event ID number, instead of that one, what they will ask. So if you want any end user is trying to do multiple authentication login failure attempts or attacker is trying to do the multiple authentication login failure attempts, how can you filter those logs in our SIM tool? Obviously, what is the answer we have to say? What the answer we have to say?
By filtering event ID.
Exactly, by filtering event ID 4625, we will come to know how many end users or attackers they are trying to do authentication failure category of the attack on the end user point of view. Okay, so it's very important, guys. Yeah, so these are all the things. And Windows logon types, we have separate topic is there. There we can discuss about these logon types. So I think I completed almost all the servers. DNS we discussed, DHCP we discussed about Microsoft, we discussed about Unix, we discussed about database server, we discussed about web server or app server, and also we discussed about file server, and we discussed about Active Directory and domain controller. So these are all the servers are very, very important in the organization point of view. Okay, I think that is for today morning class. Do you have any questions? Any questions? In the evening class, what I will do, I will explain about network comments. Once I will explain about network comments, then I will go to network architecture diagram. It's a very, very, very important. Please don't skip. I don't think so I will complete today evening. Most probably I will start tomorrow only, because comment itself, it will take approximate so 1 hour, more than 1 hour, because we have to discuss about ICMP protocol type 0 to type 255 messages and get MAC, IP config, GAL, ARP table, trace route, NS lookup, telnet, everything. Okay. So that's all for today morning, guys. And we'll continue today evening at 7 p.m. IST. Yeah, please.
Where we can see this event IDs in Windows.
We can see under the event viewer,
Where it will be.
under the search button.
Okay.
Any other?
Nothing.
Okay, guys, then thank you so very much. Have a great day and see you evening at 7 p.m. IST.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
I uploaded already till yesterday night whatever class we discussed, and I will complete this one within 1 hour.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day.
Hi guys, good morning. So 15 members, they did not mention their IDs. So evening class, you can mention your IDs. Otherwise, I will remove in the middle of the class. Okay, please, you can mention your class IDs. Thank you.
Sure, sir.